Welcome to episode 3 of SCCG's series on our track record in the gambling industry. This episode's focus is on tribal gaming and the incredible innovation and trajectory that we've seen with tribal gaming operators across the USA and the special relationship of trust that SCCG has enjoyed with tribes over decades in the past and over decades to come. When we talk about tribal gaming in America, it's important to understand what the underpinnings of that federal legislation was, that because of our historical mistreatment of tribal nations in America, that they have certain inherent rights as it relates to operating certain commercial enterprises, including, at that time, bingo operations. And so the very underpinnings was a sense of equity. And SCCG from the very beginning, in supporting tribal nations in their quest for tribal gaming facilities, was aligning itself with the principles of fairness and equity and trying to support tribal gaming as a partner, helping them put land in trust, helping them to get their first operations funded and operating in different jurisdictions like Oklahoma, California, Minnesota, Iowa, etc. And so from the very beginning in the late 80s and early 90s, SCCG and its related partners were focused in joining hands with tribal gaming operators, tribal nations, to pursue these very important economic development projects that would in turn provide employment opportunities for tribes and their people, result in revenues that could be reinvested in tribal education, tribal health care, tribal welfare, supplement grants that they were receiving from the federal government. And so at the very core of SCCG, going back to its very roots, the very beginning of its history in riverboat gaming and casino gambling, was a commitment to support tribal nations in their quest for tribal gaming enterprises. Going back into the late 80s, early 90s, I remember with partner D.W. Barrick supporting the acquisition of land that could be put in trust for the Wichita and affiliated tribes in Hinton, Oklahoma. This is outside of Oklahoma City. At the very beginning, it was a political process where we had to first acquire the land and put a sufficient amount of land in trust for the tribe that could then be approved by the BIA for purpose of land and trust gaming. That process took close to a decade, and then once that was accomplished with our support, our leadership and partnership, we could then begin to put the monies into the project that would result in a temporary gaming facility leading ultimately to a permanent gaming facility and a casino and a tribe today that enjoys. Sugar Creek Casino is a major casino in the Oklahoma City area, and it has enriched the Wichita and affiliated tribes for decades. It all started with the vision of SCCG management in partnership with D.W. Barrick to take the initiative to acquire the land, put it in trust for the Wichita and affiliated tribes. We've also worked in partnership with other tribes in various technology and commercial initiatives around the gaming, esports sector, social casino, etc. I think about our partnership going back to the 2000s with the Mohegan Sun Tribe, where we helped to basically plan out their esports initiatives, making use of their facility in Connecticut. I remember coming back to support them in providing a sportsbook powered by Betfred in their Virgin Casino, Mohegan Sun Casino in Las Vegas. I remember for over a year supporting Chumash Casino in a very detailed project about integrating databases and providing middleware in order to facilitate connecting their brick and mortar operations to their future digital operations. We have worked with dozens of Native American casinos, talking about everything from managed service to sportsbook to iGaming to esports to skill-based gaming, peer-to-peer wagering, to all kinds of CRM and tools for their casinos that create efficiencies for their casino operations. And what I have found is that tribal gaming, better than any other sector within gaming, is open to innovation and taking the lead. And this is what excites SCCG about our ongoing partnerships with tribal nations across America. In America, there are 450 tribes operating over 1,200 casinos. They represent roughly half of the casino market in America. They have their own treaties, their own constitutions, so to speak, just like countries. And so I've really taken our experience over the decades working with different tribal nations and tribal gaming operators in America, and that has really laid the foundation for SCCG to be a player in over 100 countries around the globe that have some form of gaming. But what connects tribes to corporate operators to operators state by state or country by country is the fact that we are coming together to provide an entertainment product, an experience for customers who want to consume that. We want to do it in a responsible way, in an efficient way, in a profitable way. As we look at the landscape going forward, what's interesting is that tribes have not only been successful at making their tribal gaming operations profitable, but they have become economic engines for tribes to become more expansive in the things that they're getting involved in. They're expanding outside of their tribal reservations to invest in casino projects in other states. They're getting involved in digital enterprises. They're becoming more global. And that is a fantastic opportunity for SCCG to be able to be a trusted advisor, to be able to share opportunities with tribal nations, to be able to give guidance as to where investments make sense. So the value at the heart of it is a relationship of trust. And from there, it's a commitment to pursue our industry in a responsible way, and to be innovative and to be keeping the customer in mind as to the experience we're providing, to provide that special relationship with the customer. These are the values that we share with tribal gaming operators, and we also share the desire to expand beyond tribal reservation boundaries to provide their innovation and their investment into a global gaming economy. Thank you for joining us for episode 3, Tribal Gaming Operations and that special relationship of trust that has existed over decades between SCCG and tribes across America. We look forward in episode 4 to covering our track record in casino ownership and operation throughout the U.S. and in particular in Las Vegas, a very exciting chapter that helped propel us into future expansion in technology, managed service, etc. But thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you for episode 4 in the future.